All right. So my name is Chaco, actually. It's my last name. Not everybody is so good at pronouncing Umur, so I go by that. I have a Turkish background. I lived in Germany for 4 years, so guten Tag, everyone who are from here. I speak more than that, but probably better to keep it to English, right? So today I will talk about the app space, hybrid approach. I see lots of familiar faces. I was also here last year, so always a pleasure to catch up. Some information about me. I actually have a legal background. It's actually somehow relevant in AI context, intellectual property, etc. The languages are just to show off, which I appreciate our marketing for writing, but probably doesn't matter as much. So about AppSpace, well, who are we? I actually started at a company called Beezy. Some of you are familiar with it. It's an intranet company. And AppSpace is focusing more on the physical workplace. So digital signage, space res, wayfinding, etc. They bought us because they thought, well, it's actually not a bad idea to have an omni-channel approach and give the internal comms the ability to manage everything from a single platform. So that was the idea, and it's been quite an exciting journey. It's been 2 years. So I will talk about mostly intranet, since it's the main topic, but I'll also cover how do we, let's say, cater to the entire internal comms world. So the agenda of today, we have some insights and trends based on a report that I will present. I don't want to bore you a lot. I know you're not here to hear some percentages and all that. So I will just summarize the interesting points. Honestly, there's nothing surprising. It's still COVID is over. How do I bring back the colleagues into the office? So I'll keep it short. But I have the AI piece, which is everybody is excited about, right? ChatGPT, Copilot, what will happen in future, etc. So I have a couple of slides about what are we working on, and it's actually my favorite side as a sales guy. Also, it brings in lots of traffic, to be completely honest with you. But I have some good examples of how to leverage AI in the context of an intranet. So let's dive in. Let's talk about the workplace comms trends. Well, we actually conducted a survey with 800 employees and 100 IT managers in the US, and we wanted to find out how do they feel about their current internal comms. Is the hybrid working? Is remote working? Are they feeling neglected or forgotten? So we have some findings about it, actually 3 of them. So we have the challenges, and in my experience, I will try to share the solutions that we've come up with. So the return to office movement remains a work in progress. I mean, it's not mind-blowing, right, to hear that, but it is the case, and we actually found 3, let's say, elements who are really relevant in this context. First off, connectivity. So this means you're working in remote or let's say hybrid, you want to go to the office, but you actually care about, is your colleague going to be there? Like, you assume yes, and you go and you're all alone. In summer, everybody just went because they can work remotely, so you don't go back again. So it's like a prisoner's dilemma, if you like. You never know if there's going to be someone, so you start assuming they won't be there. If you don't have, let's say, a useful tool for you to see if colleagues are there, if somebody booked a room, there's no way you can find out if you will be alone in that open space or not. So it's a big challenge. So having a useful tool to, let's say, help you get that visibility is very, very important. And that's one of the cool things we do also. I mean, not to pitch my product already, but the fact that we give you that single interface or a platform where you can view not only the engagement in the intranet, but also who's going to be present where, it really helps. So second, the efficiency. Let's say you go to the office and you have an important meeting. Again, you have an open space and you have a meeting room, but the challenge now is it's taken, right? So you're not able to have that call, or you actually are in the room, but some C-level shows up and he's like, get out, I'm gonna have my meeting. So it's really a big, big challenge. And even if you have, let's say, a tool that is just injected inside your internal comms realm, if it's not properly introduced, and if the internal comms doesn't have a strategy as to how people are supposed to use it, it really doesn't work as well. Lastly, the security. This isn't a very fun topic to talk about, but of course, sometimes you're in the office and someone rings the bell and you're like, am I allowed to let this guy in? Who are you? You know, he says he's the water guy. But if you don't have, let's say, space res or some sort of a tool to see, who's going to come, who's going to visit today, it's also a big problem that you don't want to deal with. You can be just home in your sweatpants and just checking your emails typically, right? So these are challenges, obviously. And what should comms be doing to tackle that? Well, consistency, right? Having a proper strategy. And it's a challenge, especially if you need to buy multiple tools, softwares, and try to combine them and teach people how to use them. So that's why you need to make sure that you have a very open information channel. You might have, let's say, a digital signage that you bought. You might have, like I said, space res, room or desk booking software. But if they are segmented or fragmented, then it's going to be duplicated as well. So people don't know where to look at. Am I supposed to look at the intranet or this new tool? Forget about that. I'll just send a Teams message, right, typically, and then annoy the HR people. So having that clarity is very, very helpful. A good example we have, well, obviously, Glencore is here, which we're very happy to see them today. They were actually with us last year in Berlin as well. They actually earned an award, I remember. So Glencore is the biggest company that you never heard of, as we always call them. It's 140,000 employees, and it's a mining company. And 2/3 of them actually don't have access to, let's say, desktop. So it's a challenge to keep them engaged and involved in, let's say, internal comms. So that is why it's important to also have alternatives to the intranet. That's why we don't only talk about the intranet in a desktop environment, but also the mobile app or having a digital signage, let's say, in an office, in a physical environment where you can use intranet context and have it target, the frontline employees. It's a key. And it is restrictive, of course, than having a desktop computer in front of you, but it definitely helps to drive further engagement. And obviously, in Glencore's case, it's working very well, because the advantage of, again, working with AppSpace, let's say you have the intranet solution, but you want to roll out to the digital signage. It's a very, very easy roadmap that we've already experienced in. So again, having a single omni-channel approach here makes it super easy to also roll out to other products. When we say AppSpace, so we have 4 core solutions, people assume that, yeah, okay, we're going to have to buy all of that. Not really. Of course, you can start with the intranet and say, okay, digital signage makes sense too, seeing this example. So you can also roll out to that in a very easy way. So second insight, I have 15 minutes. I will rush through the slides and show you the exciting stuff. So just to talk about it briefly, obviously 67% of the people we've, let's say, surveyed are not satisfied with the technology that they have. And this is shocking, right? It's the 2/3 of the people that you have working with you. And the reason is threefold, let's say. First off, not everyone in the company uses the same tools and technologies, especially, also the ghost tools, let's say, right? From WhatsApp to Teams, and as internal comms, you want to, let's say, leverage intranet, or you have a brand new product, but nobody looks at it. Because again, the question of strategy, having that clarity and vision, it's a challenge, it's a full-time work. And a lot of internal comms think, okay, I failed, right? I had this project, I wasn't able to launch it. Well, the good news is, if you already have, let's say, in terms of the intranet, a pre-built product that is used by 1.5 million people, that you know it drives engagement, it has the same technology base that is let's say, being tested every day by all of these people, you know that we have the strategy to share with you as well. Because if you build an intranet from scratch, as lots of companies prefer as a business model, then you're going to have to, let's say, launch an experiment. The UX will be different. Your senior management will say, you know what? We want to have a weather widget in that top-down part. The worst idea ever. But it actually pops up a lot, because imagine that valuable real estate that you have on the start page, And you're just putting there 23 degrees today, which will also be there on the bottom corner in your phone. Or you have the window, just look outside, right? But those things, we are very opinionated. We know what works, we know what does not work. So we share that experience with you as well. Customers the king, you will say, I still want that weather widget. We'll give it to you, but at least we know it works or not. So it's very important. So it's already starting a couple of steps ahead of, let's say, other companies in terms of strategy building, roadmap building, because the product installation, 2 hours and you have it. So this I will skip actually. Third and the last insight, the collaboration and communication top employees challenges. Well, it's not a surprise either, right? Emails are still there and they will be there. And lots of intranets, they have their own collaboration, let's say, spaces, or they propose alternatives. So we do as well, right? We have our own newsfeed. But the idea is really not to compete with the emails. They will stay there. But the idea is to complement it, because emails are extremely formal. I have a good example. I live in France, and you know, actually because of the strikes recently now, but there's lots of train delays, right? So what happens is you're sitting in a train, it's actually moving, but you get an SMS saying, yeah, there's gonna be a delay. And you're like, this is probably an error. It's just like an email, right? You don't take it seriously until someone starts giving you an announcement and saying, hey, we're actually gonna stop now. And that's when you start taking it seriously. So that's how you're supposed to use the intranet as well, because intranet gives you that social experience. It's just like that water cooler conversation you're having in the office. So let's say you receive an email coming from management saying, yeah, this is a very important form to fill in, so like, do it. You don't do it until you see it in the intranet and there's an announcement saying, hey, guys, we gotta fill this in until the end of this week, maybe in a Teams or like a department level, or even the company level. So now it's more humane, now you take it seriously. So that's why using the intranet as a complement is very important. So obviously, let's talk about the product itself and the exciting feature that I just mentioned. I still have 11 minutes, which will be enough. I'm happy about that, because this is you know, a lot of information to digest, but let's proceed. So thinking beyond the intranet, I already explained a couple of aspects of what we do differently, but let's focus more on the intranet. So having an intranet where you can already channel some of that information and structure it without duplicating the tools and features, it's very important. The example is, again, the content management system we have, which allows you to target certain people, certain groups in the digital realm, but also using that content to display it in a digital signage centrally from a platform, makes everybody's life easier, prevents duplicates, and also for the end user, for people in the office, they also feel valued because they see, okay, this is what I care about. Just think of the, you know, everybody takes planes now, they're more modern, and you have a screen in front of you. There used to be this generic content about, I go to Barcelona, so there's this travel guide. Nobody reads that, right? But now they put information about how much time it's left, because I'm like sick of being in this plane. Maybe I can see the lunch menu, right? Personalization. So that is the key for your content to be consumed. And that is why having that beautiful architecture already offered by your vendor helps you a lot. So thanks a lot for this very top-down and let's say static information-based presentation, and that you listen to it. But let's actually see some exciting stuff, namely the AI. So we've been working a lot with AI because it's the big topic, right? And again, having a single solution allows you to really focus on that and make every user's life easier. That's what we do so well with AppSpace Intranet, because you basically buy it. You know that HSBC uses it with 250,000 employees, or Glencore with 140,000 employees. So even if you're a small company, you will be benefiting from those updates and launches without having to pay for them, because we have a single fee policy and we offer at least 4 to 6 updates a year. So as internal comes, you don't care anymore. Copilot, Viva connections, you guys just talked about it, right? It's just, you don't know what's gonna happen. It's cool, it's exciting, but I don't know what to do with that. But you don't need to, because we do that for you already, having ex-Microsoft people, Microsoft experts, and that also is quite relevant in the context of AI. For example, some of you, obviously Glencore knows how our CMS looks like. It's actually an award-winning one. I'm actually not sharing my screen, I just realized, but it's not late to do so. Let's just change it. There we go. All right. Okay, now good. So this is our CMS, and every intranet has it, right? At least as a, web part or a template. But what we do is it's also very frictionless. To create content, it's very easy. You can add podcasts, videos, webinars, etc., just by copying and pasting a link. You don't need to care about HTML codes, etc. We do all of that for you, which I'm also happy to show in action if you come visit us. But there is, again, this nervous moment of having a blank page in front of you, and you're supposed to write a content, and you don't know where to start, right? Very annoying. Sometimes I have to do it as well. We sometimes write our internal reports. I'll probably write one after the event. So that is where AI has been helping a lot. I mean, ChatGPT, everybody knows it. I'm not going to geek about it. I'm sure most of you use it. Can I ask how many people use ChatGPT? Well, there we go. Brilliant. So it is very relevant today, right? So that's what we've been focusing on as well. But ChatGPT is public. Sometimes you're like, I have to give a lot of input. Am I doing something illegal? So having that security aspect taken care of in the Microsoft realm is a beauty, because Copilot's been quite exciting. So let's say you want to write an article about let's say, travel policies. So you write it there, write a page about company travel policies, probably more or less how you would do it using ChatGPT. But the beauty is AppSpace Intranet actually exists inside your Microsoft tenant. So this means it's going to use your already available company information to create that content for you. It's secure, but it's also already relevant. So you just write a page about company travel policies, AI is writing it, it came up with some stuff. You're probably already familiar with Microsoft Copilot. You can change tone, you can make it more formal or less formal, or let's say you make it a little bit longer. So you click on that and you have this highly, let's say, it looks like you worked a lot on it. You just pressed, on 2-3 buttons, which is the beauty of AI again, but it still looks somehow boring. So you want to make it a little bit more interesting and engaging. You want to add, let's say, an image, but you have no idea like which image to find. Download some stock images of planes or palm trees or whatever. You don't need to think about that anymore either. So what you do is you just go on Smart Suggestions, and you will have a couple of pictures that you can choose from. Again, one click. So you chose it, and it already looks a little bit more, let's say, enhanced than as if you spent hours on it. You can also make it more interesting by adding the alt text. Again, based on the content, you see the symbol, it means it's generated by AI. So you don't need to think about all of those formalities, which are definitely not fun, but the AI will be taking care of it for you. By the way, a very important disclaimer, this is the feature that we've been developing. It's not available yet. We're planning on launching it as soon as Q4 this year. So very exciting for the entire team. So you created this article, let's say, and you still can change some parts of it. You can still choose, let's say, one paragraph, and you can have the related files founded for you. You don't even need to look for them, about travel policies or business traveling at your company or the related pages. So this is, again, all of that manual friction. We're trying to get rid of that. It's actually, interesting to mention, our chief product officer is a sociologist, so his entire focus is on the human element and how can I reduce the friction, how can I make the user journey easier. And this has been working quite well in the AI context as well, as you can see. Now, how do we retrieve that information from your tenant? Well, we exist in your tenant, so we have access to your entire Microsoft 365, but not externally. So it means we don't see that data, we can't process that data. Again, the reason why so many banks prefer working with AppSpace Intranet, such as HSBC, Santander, Caixa, Bank of England, Swiss National Bank, etc., etc. So moving on, you can again maybe change tone for the paragraph, make longer, shorter, simplify it, so that, let's say, if it's a complex content, maybe let's say a legal topic, you can also cater it in a more simplified way. Plus, you can also, use AI to increase the findability, like I already mentioned, have it add some tags, also to structure it properly inside your intranet. Also schedule it, have it, let's say, published maybe on Monday, but even here you have smart recommendations. So to maximize your reach, you see, based on the previous content, when it would be consumed the most, right? Probably at 1 p.m. on Monday, obviously 84%. So you care about that, right? Even that, you don't need to care about it anymore. And this is based on your internal content consumption. Pretty cool stuff. So lastly, you can also add a summary. You didn't even write it, right? But you can have that summary also for people who won't be reading even the AI-generated context. It's the future, guys. Nobody reads stuff, nobody writes stuff, but the simplification helps a lot. So, plus you also see there's this 5-minute read information in here. So that is important because this is very cool, actually. Maybe you've been working with Microsoft Bing. Nobody uses it, to be honest, but they have one good feature that I like. It is when you go on Bing, you can use the text-to-speech, and Copilot also has this technology. It actually gives you an AI-based personalized voice. So it's as if the HR team leads, reading you all of that, the content created. Super impressive. I really encourage you to check that out. Anybody checked actually Bing text-to-speech? If I can see some hands. Okay, so you should check it. It's very impressive. And we also embed it inside our product now by creating a podcast or like a vocal, let's say, summary of whatever content that you created. So it will also be available as an audio file so people can listen to it on the go, right? Super impressive. Plus, again, being a omni-channel product, you can also target your content based on, let's say, QR codes. This automation is also created by us. Have it shown in the digital signage for the colleagues who don't have access to desktop. So super exciting. Like I said, Q4, I'm happy to give you more details about the technical aspect or the practical aspect of it. Feel free to come visit us in our booth. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm happy to hear some questions from you.